Hi there, I'm Camille.
I'm Gretchen. Welcome back to Starting Over, everyone. We're so glad you're here. In case you're new to the channel, what are we?
We are starting over all the time. In our lives, everyone starts over, and you're going to come across lifing on you. And how are you going to handle it? Well, we have an idea, and our idea is pause, take a breath, slow down, and just start over. Refresh yourself and your thoughts and your attitude. Attitude is everything.
It so is. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
not just attitude, but what we like to really focus on is take accountability of your thoughts.
Yes.
Because your thoughts are predicting your future.
And your mood. So if you
Yeah.
if you ever walk in a room when someone's upset and you're like, oh my gosh, I can feel the heat coming off them. They are angry, they're whatever. That is real because moods are a thing. And so it's a vibration. So when you pick up on that with people, you're going to either embrace or, attract or detract. Right?
Here's the thing about moods, especially with females. And we can say it because we are.
We are.
But you know what? As a female, unless you get on top of that,
Yeah.
like it's going to destroy your whole day and everyone around you.
That's true.
It's strong.
It is true. Very true.
I remember there were family members that, you remember back when we used to shop on Black Fridays, you actually
yeah.
used to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And
have to.
there was
No,
a
I'm not.
couple of these chicks that if they were in a bad mood, like literally they killed the whole day.
It's awful.
Yeah. So anyway, we are talking today actually about how important your thoughts are with your health.
Yes.
Not only mental health, but your physical health as well. And, Camille and I are big, firm believers that we have slipped into a stage of living where everything is dependent upon a medication.
Oh, man.
You've got
right?
this symptom. Oh, let me give you this. Oh, that's not working. Now let's give you this too.
Yeah.
And we've come so dependent upon
Supplements or medications or
the prescriptions.
it's called the quick fix. What if the quick fix is actually already in you?
Yeah.
You said this earlier when we were talking that you would rather change your thoughts and your mood instead of taking a pill.
Well, yeah. I mean, the best medicine you can give yourself is a healthy mind.
100%.
Because, and I don't mean like just repetitive words of affirmations that don't mean anything to you. You actually have to have a change of heart.
Yeah.
When you have a change of heart, because the heart directs everything in our lives.
That's right.
Okay. So because the heart is the center, if you want to get into energy, it is the center of everything.
That's right.
Right. So if you don't change or even understand the importance of you in your heart, you can't move forward. You will be stuck in the same pattern. And you see this all the time with your clients. You're just stuck in the same rotation of
Same
feelings.
results, different day.
Same results. Yeah.
That's right. I think we talked about having someone called the cooler. Have you ever heard of that term?
I haven't.
So you go to Vegas and the eyes in the sky watching people win, and if there's a legitimate win, you can tell. There's like thermography cameras or whatever, and a person's really naturally high because they just won money or something. If there's a cheat going on, you can tell that too. But what they watch for is the natural win, because if you got someone naturally winning and they're feeling that exuberance, etc., he says,
Oh, that's the energy.
yes, send in the cooler. And a cooler is a person that has such a low vibration, like a bass drum, right? And they go and they will play on the table next to you, or they'll get next to you. They just have to
Zap
go
your
into.
energy.
They're human vampires.
You know how many people in relationships or even in family dynamics are coolers?
Right.
Right.
Well,
They're
but they
buzz
really do.
killers, what they are.
And you watch some actors and stuff, and like mobsters or whatever, and I would consider those people, acting to be the cooler, but it's because they're gonna kill people or whatever. But those are really low. They have no compassion, no empathy kind of people.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I know that you just said it, but we've all been in situations where you walk into a space, or maybe you work for somebody, or whatever it is, and you can tell their vibe. You can totally tell their energy, and you can't wait to get away from them.
Yes.
Or maybe you go into a building or facility, and you're like, I don't feel good here. I don't feel good here.
And I'm telling you, you've got to trust your gut on that, trust your feelings on that.
Yeah.
So I'm real careful with that kind of stuff. Now, I wasn't always, and I got myself caught up. I was kidnapped at 5, remember? So I couldn't say no. I'm 5, right? But
I was going to say, what do you know? You're 5. You trust everybody when you're 5.
I still had a natural knowing. I was like, I froze. I literally froze. And that's how he got me, because he was trying to give me money. He had this big silver dollar, and in front of that little 5-year-old hand, it was my whole palm, And I was just, and I didn't want it. I was, no. But I was so frozen, I couldn't get away.
Isn't it funny how your little mind was telling you no?
I knew.
Right, it was telling you no already. And so when we talk about, like, for instance, your physical health,
Yes.
It's really easy, especially, and I can say this, y'all, if you've had a diagnosis, it's really easy to go into that thought of, well, now this is what this means.
Yes.
Now this is, okay, here's my future. Here's what, oh my gosh.
Medically, you mean medically?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to take this treatment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if I can say for my case with cancer,
Yeah.
it's easy to get into your head statistics or amounts of people that have died or,
That's right.
that's why I was really careful about who I told, which wasn't really hardly anybody.
I remember.
Because everybody tends to have this thought that, oh, you're going to die.
And it's, oh my God, you poor little thing. I mean,
Everybody
I hate
that has
pity.
cancer
Yeah.
dies. Yeah.
I hate
And
pity. I don't want
so
pity.
to me, I was just like,
Yeah. And you were very careful about it.
I was adamant.
Well, your attitude was everything. And I watched you like, you weren't succumbing to this.
No.
You're like, I don't think so. And so you didn't fight it like it was bad, but how did you get your mind set? Because
So
I think that's what was huge.
From the beginning, it's really interesting how this epiphany of just how I was going to handle it. Literally, I was home by myself. I was in the bathroom when I got the call from the doctor.
Yeah.
And of course, the first thing was, how do I tell my kids? But then the second thing was, I better call my insurance broker. I better make sure that I'm up to, everything
Current.
is,
Current,
well, it's
yeah.
current, but I just want to make sure I'm covered because I didn't even know what's going to happen. But you know what? I became obsessed with the knowledge of that is not going to take over me. So from the very beginning, I never used, and I still don't use the words like fighting cancer or cancer's a bitch or kick cancer's ass because it was the enemy. And I figured if something is in me, it's a part of me. So I'm not the enemy.
Yeah.
So I need to create an environment where it is so uncomfortable it needs to leave.
Yeah.
So I loved on everything else that was whole and healthy.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, well then I'm just going to leave the door open through my mental attitude. I'm just going to leave the door open so that cancer has not. It's like if you're in a situation where it's really uncomfortable, eventually you're going to leave.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So I
very
kind of thought about that with cancer. But I talked to my body. I don't mean prayers, y'all. I talk to my body all the time.
Yes.
All the time. And I still do that. If I'm in the shower, I'm like, hey, hands and fingers, I enjoy you so much. I do so much in my life because of you. Thank you for what you're doing for me. Or I started studying about cell growth and how many cells we're making at every second.
Yeah.
Not just at the end of the day, like we're constantly. So the amount of healthy cells that we have versus sick cells way outweigh the other ones. So why not praise the good stuff and leave the other ones? Like if they're unhealthy, they're gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just not feed them and give them something else to think about.
100%. And I do believe, I think we had this chat earlier too, is people probably do have a huge influence on their health issue or their overall well-being in life, whether it's health or relationship or anything, by their attitude and by what they say about themselves and what they think about themselves.
Don't you have this? Don't you see this when people have relationship problems?
I do. I see it, yes.
Because I think you can be very unhealthy when it comes to your emotions.
100%.
We all know that, right? Yeah. And so when you have two people in a relationship that are struggling, I know the thing that you're good about is let's separate the relationship. That's not really the issue right now. Let's get down to what's going on with you and what's going on with you. And now y'all are bringing that together, but it's not that person's fault or that one. It's two separate issues.
Correct. And the real issue is the relationship we have with ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes. And so when you can get right with yourself and you got to clear your head, what if the pain you're in isn't really about anyone else? What if it is you and it's already in you and that person might be a great button pusher, right? So we do push our buttons, get our buttons get pushed all the time. That's normal. That's called being triggered. Right. It's a common term nowadays, but it really is up to us if we're triggered, if we're upset. It's up to me to fix that. It's up to you to fix that if you have an upset.
I think it's important too to think about it this way. Are you looking for a chance to feel sorry for yourself? Are you looking for a chance for somebody to pity you or somebody, maybe you feel like you need validation or maybe you feel like you just need, and I'm not saying those things are horrible. I'm just saying.
But if you live like a victim.
If you live like a victim and that is your continuous story, by the definition of law of attraction, you get more of it.
That's true.
So,
What did you tell me? The universe always says yes. Or
Always.
God says yes. So if it's, oh no, I'm going to go broke, yes. Oh no, I'm going to, yes. I mean, you're going to get yes every time. I'm dying of this, yes.
Right.
I've got millions coming, yes. I mean, you have the power to choose what your future is going to look like by the power of your thoughts and ideas and feelings.
And it's funny because my whole motto during cancer was I am whole and healthy. So what happens when you use the words I am, you activate the God source that's in you.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a declaration, right? It isn't a prayer. It's not an ask. It's a statement.
Yes.
So I am whole and healthy. And I thought that is covering everything.
Agreed.
Everything. So even right now, I've got some other stuff that I'm going through with my health. And I was like, no. I declared I'm whole and healthy. And that means right now, too.
Yes. Yes.
So, are we going to have a little hiccups along the way? Yes. But when you remember what you've declared, when you remember what is your core belief, and again, we're talking about the heart.
Yeah, heart-centered. Yeah.
What is directing you? Is it your mind? Because if your mind is directing you, then your mind's going to take you to, oh my gosh, so-and-so amount of people die of this type of cancer, or mental problems, runs in my family, so therefore I have it. However you want to justify it, if you think with your head, you will always find an answer. If you think with your heart, you'll always find a solution.
I like that. That's very good. And I would say whatever you believe, you're going to be right.
Yeah.
If you believe you're going to do this, you will. I think we believe our children into their behavior. If I believe my kids are going to be just fine, they're going to this. I don't know that I let myself believe in going down and getting depressed and stuff. I'm not saying there's not moments, but
Sure.
I just don't believe that's there for me. That's on me.
I think it's interesting you bring that up because I've been studying a lot about mind patterns or thoughts.
Yeah.
A belief is just a thought that we keep thinking over and over again, but it doesn't mean it's fact.
That's right.
Doesn't mean it's fact, right? And so what tends to happen is when we have a belief from either our community, our environment, our upbringing, whatever it is, we're not trying to put the blame on something, but
we got to believe
chances
somewhere.
are,
Yeah.
there's an age from like 2 to 7, I think, when you're a child that you're really formed.
Yes.
You really, really are formed. And so as you go about life and you become an adult, you can trace it back to what were you taught. But most of us don't stop and take inventory of, okay, I think this way because this is how, no one in my family ever goes to college, so I'm not going to go to college. Money's always hard to come by because we just don't come.
We're hard workers.
Yeah.
We ain't going to be criminals and rich people.
Money doesn't grow on trees. These are little sayings that subconsciously we actually are thinking about more than what we recognize because it's subconscious.
Yes.
So that's one of the things when you're trying to heal yourself, you have to get into that subconscious thoughts. You really have to go deep in that because you and I know we can tell ourselves, I am this, I am this, I am this. But if you don't believe it, and if your subconscious mind, which is 90% of your thoughts, keeps telling you things that contradict what you're trying to say, you've got a war going on.
Correct.
And the 90% is going to win because it's a lot older than your new verbiage that you're saying.
True. Well, and how you see what you believe is what are your results?
Yeah.
And people, it's like, okay, let's look at your results. Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel blocked? And wherever you're at, whatever pattern you're stuck in, whatever results in life you've got, so to speak, your finances, your relationships, your beliefs got you there. I'm not saying you created the beliefs, but a lot of people, when they stop and really pause and say, what do I really believe? What do I really think? You're going to see that you believe a lie. You're believing a lie. Something must be wrong with me. How many kids go through a divorce with their parents and they're quite young? Kids
they
personalize
take it.
Yeah, it's like dad left, mom left because I'm too much to handle, whatever. So that belief that got generated from a highly emotional trauma, probably in childhood, that seeds something. Something happens and we make it mean this because we can't process it at that age. We don't know. So I'm not safe in the world, or people can't love me. I'm unlovable. I'm too much to handle. Whatever that is, okay, that creates some sort of dis-ease in the body, right?
Totally.
And then it might take years to manifest that if you don't process that. But when something happens, like life, we get an illness or something, that's the time to pause and really look at what am I believing about myself? Why would this have happened? And you'll see that's a natural progression. Obviously, I was holding on to something, or I'm stuck on something. And the body does respond, though, when you're kind, when you give it what it needs, which is unconditional love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gratitude.
And I want to kind of make sure we're on. I want to say this, but I want to be sensitive because I don't know what you're going through. I can speak from what I went through, but here's what I do know. When you do not process your emotions and you push them away, they will eventually rise to the surface.
Oh, yeah.
So that could mean a disease. It could mean a lot of things, right?
Relationship troubles constantly.
Yeah, you could have your hair fall out. I mean,
Stress.
Your body is going to say enough, tapped out, and it's going to react some way, right? I know exactly why I got cancer. Doctors didn't tell me this. Jesus didn't come down tell me this. I just know. I know exactly where it stemmed from.
Yeah.
And so
and it was a pain. It was a wound.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was a trauma. Yes. And so when you have knowledge, then you have power. So that's the premise of what Camille does. Let me take you back to where that happened. Mm-hmm. Where is that block? Where is that trauma? Where is that? Because when you can work through that, then you have let that go. Yeah. Your body no longer has to react to that trauma because you've worked through it. That is the reason why you even go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's not to make the relationship, hunky-dory again. It's to get down to the deep root so it doesn't keep surfacing.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
Good. So this is kind of what we're focused on too, is just how, if we are going to be kind to ourselves, if we're going to be the healthiest we possibly can be, what do we need to look at? What are your results? What are our results? And how do we get here? And then how are we going to shift that?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just taking an inventory and seeing where you're at, and then delving in, talking to somebody or journaling and trying to figure out where that root came from. And
so really, just to kind of wrap this up, y'all, if you, like Camille was saying, if you don't like the outcome in your life, trace it back to what am I thinking about? What am I talking about? What am I reading? What am I watching? What am I spending time soaking into my subconscious thoughts? That is predicting what is happening in my everyday life, in my 3D reality. So when you can actually take ownership and go, I'll give you, for instance, there's a Netflix show called The Blacklist that...
Oh, I love it.
I know, I got to the point I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I was watching it before I went to bed too, and I was like, oh man, there's all kinds of problems with me doing this. But that was something, it was interesting because my body craved to watch it. Like, I got to know what's going to happen next, and it just kept getting darker and darker. And I'm thinking, hey, I got to not do this anymore. But when you pay attention into how are you feeling about a situation, when that knock on the door is telling you, don't watch that anymore. Yeah. I had to listen to it, And I think if I would continued, and I'm not hating on that show, y'all, it's good. But really good. I know what it was doing to me. Yeah. Okay. And it was bringing up stuff that I hadn't actually gone through, come through yet. So there was a lot of emotional stuff that was coming to me. So my solution was be done with it. Yeah. But if I would have stayed, I don't know what my body would have done. You know what I'm saying? So trust yourself. Take inventory and just, be accountable for your thoughts and don't be afraid of them. And your results, because again, whoever's going to fix you is going to be you. No one's going to come save the day. Exactly. Except us. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate y'all being here. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. All that stuff you're supposed to do. And if you want us to come talk at your next weekend event, we do one-on-one sessions. We do couple work. We'd love to help you out with that. Yeah, absolutely. You can message us here. We appreciate it, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.